Hey guys, it is MissSimReno. If you are returning to the channel, welcome back. And if you are brand new, I am very excited that you decided to join me here today for another speed build. And we are in the world of Brindleton Bay, building a Dutch Colonial. And I am just so in love with this freaking house because, as many of you guys know, I am originally from New England and Dutch Colonials are everywhere. I've always loved the style of house. It's probably my favorite style of house if I'm actually thinking about it, but they are very difficult, at least in my opinion, very difficult to build in The Sims 4 because to actually create the roofing and functional areas on a second story can be a little bit challenging, especially because we all know the proportions in The Sims 4 compared to real life are a little bit off. So I had to make this house a lot bigger than I was anticipating just to make sure that the second story was actually useful and that I could have a few different rooms up there and not just have it be like a fake dormer window up at the top over this little porch. But I really like how it came out and I hope you guys will enjoy it as well. It is very, very symmetrical too, by the way. So the front and the back is pretty much identical to one another. Like they are literally identical. I just emulated the front to the backyard as well because I don't know how to add like different aspects to Dutch Colonial builds either. I feel like they're so difficult to build. I can't get over it. It was really hard to kind of come up with this. I think it took me a couple days to actually come up with what I wanted the house to look like and to really have, I don't even know what it's called technically. I know there's probably a name for it and I just haven't looked it up, but it's basically that piece that's a bit more rounded. So the roofing and really just that whole style, it kind of looks like a barn to me. That's what I always think of, but trying to come up with how I wanted to actually use that and where I wanted to put it on this home was just really hard. But we are working on the landscaping right now and I used a few lavender bushes, if you can even call them bushes, which I haven't used in some time. I loved these from the debug menu because they looked a little bit more almost shiny. They looked a little bit more vibrant than the ones that we have in the regular build and buy catalog, but I just really like this. I made a path from the front that leads up to the porch and then it also wraps around to the backyard. So you can see that this house isn't centered on this lot and that's because I wanted there to be that little pathway to the backyard, which is fairly big. This lot, oddly enough, it's in that little, I think Sable Square is what it's called. And this is the sporting space or something is the lot name. I can't remember, but it is in the top left-hand corner of the screen. But yeah, this lot I think is a 20 by, is it a 30 by 20 or a 20 by 30 or something? I actually thought it was a 20 by 15 at one point, but that's a really small lot, so I don't think it's that. But I don't know, it just seemed like a smaller lot, which is why I chose it. And then I realized that the house was huge, but I had a lot of space in the backyard that I did not anticipate whatsoever. And as you can see, I also went into the debug menu and I pulled out this fence, and that's specifically from the cats and dogs debug menu, and I love it. I love it so freaking much. I had no idea we even had that until I went in and grabbed it because I wanted to use a fence that was like that, and we got an actual fence with cats and dogs that slightly resembles it, but I don't know, I just didn't like how it looked. So finding this debug one was so nice. I was so thrilled. And then I also added a few different outside lights here, kind of lining the pathway to the back gate that leads you to the backyard. And then we end up going on to the interior to start the floor plan, which was oddly easy downstairs considering how restricted I was upstairs. I don't know why I found it so easy. It didn't really make a lot of sense, but there are actually 2 full bathrooms, I want to say, downstairs, which is unusual. I don't do full bathrooms downstairs all of the time, but considering how little space I was going to have upstairs for 2 bedrooms and maybe another bathroom, I decided that it was a good idea to have 2 full bathrooms downstairs. And here, oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this. It's so small and I don't actually show it on camera, but so I used one of the what look like barn doors from cats and dogs there. And off camera, what I do is I actually grab one of the gutters, I think it's technically a gutter, from Get Together, and I use the tool mod to shift it so it kind of looks like a, oh, what is it called? Basically, I tried to make it look like a sliding barn door for a little utility closet. It's like the track that the sliding door would be on. So that's what the gutter looks like. You'll see it in the screenshots, but I was very, very excited about thinking about that, and someone else was probably discovered this before me, so who knows, but I was thrilled because it actually looks like a sliding barn door. So basically that's just an open archway to the utility room. But this is the first room that we work on. We work on the dining room, which was so really, like, I don't know, really calming to me. I thought it was so beautiful because I've never used these chairs before. I'm going to put that out there. I don't remember the last time I ever touched these chairs and put them in a build on the channel ever. They're from Parenthood and I just loved them. I thought they looked, I don't know, they looked a little bit more cutesy than fancy because I didn't want this home to be super posh, I suppose, or I don't know, I didn't want it to start leaning towards the modern side with some of the furniture that I was thinking of. So it was really nice to use these chairs. And of course, I used that new plant that we got with the 21st anniversary update. But then I also used a rug that I hadn't used. And I don't even remember where it's from now that we've gone past it. But I used that same rug in, I think, like 2 or 3 other rooms throughout this home. And it's mainly because it ties in the very soft, like, pink and purple colors that I use throughout this entire house, which is unusual for me. I actually really don't like the color pink, and purple's okay. There are different variations of both colors that I think I would probably gravitate towards, but I really don't like pink that much. And purple, it has to be very soft for me to enjoy it. So these are colors that I'm not used to using, and I think the last time that I did use them was actually in, well, it's going to sound weird when I say this, but you guys will probably have already seen like the red and white tiny home that I did in Brindleton Bay, but the interior, contrary to what the title says, it is actually pretty much like all pink and kind of purple with maybe some blues. So I don't know, just these softer colors that I'm not really used to using. And I would say, I don't know, they seem to be stereotypically, you know, I can say stereotypically all I want, but you can of course love any color that you want. It does not matter. But they're stereotypically like very feminine colors. And I think even as a little kid, I hated them. I hated them so much. I really did. Like, my favorite color is yellow, and I love blue as well. And it's so weird. As a kid, I was always made fun of that my favorite color wasn't pink. So I say smash gender norms because just because I'm a girl doesn't mean I have to like pink. So whatever. But this is pretty much the living room here. So I actually kind of made a little bit of a different layout than I'm used to doing. I have a fireplace off to the side, and then the couch isn't actually facing the fireplace. I would often put a TV above a fireplace because I don't know why, it just looks like the perfect space to put one, but I decided to put the fireplace a little bit off to the side here and have the couch facing the TV, so the layout's a little bit odd. And I did use these coffee tables from Tiny Living that I actually realized, I felt so bad when I realized this. I realized it the other day because I got that idea from Rachel, my sweet dear friend, and I've been doing it now for a few different builds, like probably for a couple of weeks. And I was sitting there being like, what made me think of this? Like, why am I doing this? This looks cute, but like, why am I doing it? Where did this come from? And then I was watching one of Rachel's more recent builds, and I was like, oh my God, I subconsciously like implanted this idea of hers into one of my builds. So I felt, 1, really bad, and 2, this just reinforced why I don't really watch other builders, because I don't want that to happen again. It like made me so upset that it even happened. But anyway, we are now finishing up the living room here. There's just another console table. I was originally trying to think of a way to make it a little bit of a reading nook with a bench and everything, but I just didn't really like how it looked. I thought it looked a little bit too cramped over there, which a console table didn't really help that, but I did enjoy it a little bit more. And then this bathroom here is just going to be one of the full bathrooms downstairs. It's nothing fancy, nothing crazy, but I did use the Country Kitchen Kit counters. There's a lot of like "k" sounds going on there, my gosh. And I think I end up putting a shower tub combo in both of the full bathrooms on the first floor just because I thought it made the most sense. And even though I didn't put a dog bowl or anything in this build, it would be perfect if you did end up downloading this house, and if that family ended up having a dog or something, you would have multiple areas where you could bathe the dog or toddlers or anything like that. I believe there is a full bathroom upstairs, so there's 3 full bathrooms, which is pretty wild. Not something I anticipated for this house, and since I was envisioning it for 4 Sims, I thought that that was perfect. But that was actually just the little utility room. I put a washer and dryer over in that one tile nook, and then I also put a vacuum in there as well from the Bust the Dust kit. So that is just this little like offshoot utility room, and I thought it was a great way to utilize that really weird space that the stairs caused in regards to my floor planning. But now I am working on the front entryway, and there is just another armchair. There's also another console table, a mirror, nothing else really fancy. I think I end up using actually one of the plants from Seasons. I think it's a tree that looks like it's in like a little terrarium base. I almost never ever use it because one, it's huge, and two, I just don't like a lot of the swatches, but I think I sized it down here and put it in the front. And oh, I just put a bathtub in this one, so my bad. There's at least 2 bathtubs, but this is not a shower tub combo. I was mistaken. But now we're moving on to the kitchen, which I have to admit this. I love this entire build, but the kitchen is actually my least favorite room. And it is my least favorite just because I didn't feel as though I came up with the best possible layout for the kitchen. It was a little bit awkward because I had 3 windows that were not placed evenly on tile. So like I couldn't line up the sink to be right underneath the window, which kind of drove me crazy. And the stove is like half over a window. There was no good way to actually lay out the kitchen in my head, so I kind of just went with it the best that I could. I also couldn't use any of what I would consider like the full cabinets above either because there were so many windows everywhere, so it was just a very weird kitchen to me. And since I wanted to try to center the stove there underneath the window, which if you think about it, there would be a lot of like backsplash and it would be kind of gross. So yeah, we're just gonna go with it. It's The Sims. It's fine. But I use the little like end countertops to try to mush the stove in between, and it worked fine when I play tested it, but I have concerns that it might not work, or the stove, or not the stove, but like the fridge or the stove might not work. I'm a little bit nervous about it, so definitely just let me know. And if it has to have an adjustment, I'm so sorry. But I also put this console table here in the center and kind of create a faux island, which I love doing when islands are just way too big theoretically for a space. And I also tied in the pinks and purples, just the very soft colors, into this kitchen too. I wanted to make it a little bit cluttered, just like I do with all of my family builds. And I don't know, it came out okay. Like I said, it's not my favorite room in the entire house. I think my favorite room is actually the landing upstairs, which we are about to get to. Oh my gosh, I'm like pining over that little space. I can't wait to show you because I tried something new that I've tried before, and I think I over cluttered a specific area, so it didn't work well. But when we get there, you'll see it. So we're actually just wrapping up the kitchen now, just adding a few more decorations and a few of those little sticky notes to the fridge from the debug menu from Parenthood, and adding a few items of kid clutter as well, because I do envision this household with 2 children. Now I don't know again if they have 2 sons, 2 daughters, a son and a daughter, doesn't matter at all, because the room is basically just a void critter themed, which I thought was really, really cute. But now we are working on the upstairs. So this landing area is pretty big considering how much space there is upstairs, but I was able to get the 2 bedrooms that I wanted, as well as another full bathroom, which was very important to me because I don't think that everyone would want to just run downstairs to one of the bathrooms in the middle of the night. Do you know what I mean? But here is the cool thing I was talking about. So I was so excited about this. I used these shelves that I sized up, and then I grabbed a table and put a laptop on it. I then sized the table down, and I was able to make it look as though the laptop was sitting on these shelves. And the chair clipped appropriately to the table, and then I used these little poofs to cover up said tables that I shrunk down. And when I had my playtest sim checking everything out, they were able to sit down at both chairs and use both laptops. And I was shooketh to my freaking core. I was so excited that the little poofs didn't block anything, that there was no interference with the shelves. Like, I was shocked. And I don't even know originally where I saw this idea, but I think I tried it in a build maybe over a year ago. And like I said, it worked, but I think I blocked it with some clutter stuff. So it was a little bit finicky, but here it was perfect, and I was thrilled. So it's like a little study nook right on this landing space with another couch, these cute little cubicle bookshelf things from Discover University, and there's also a dollhouse and a few different toys. So this is almost like it's almost like a playroom, but it's open. You know what I mean? It's open to everything, but it's at least up on the second floor so the kids can kind of spread out a little bit more. But I thought it was nice because the parents could maybe hang out on the couch while the kids are working on homework at their little built-in desk area. It is like one of my favorite spaces I think I've ever made, and I'm just really proud of how it came together, so I hope you guys like it as well. But here I just put another piece of artwork, which I think I actually repeated downstairs in the kitchen, so I apologize ahead of time. There's also another console table, and then of course the full bathroom up here as well, where I do in fact use a shower tub combo, definitively, not just the bathtub like I did downstairs. And then I end up working on the master bedroom, which admittedly is a little bit smaller than I was hoping for. Now, I think the master bedroom as well as the kids' room, I think they're the same size. I had to literally section it up in even squares to be able to get that bathroom in the middle, but I still really liked it. It's fully functional, and that's all that really matters. And I thought it was really nice because they, of course, have that big window there that lets in so much natural light. And the kids get the same right over their beds, which is beautiful. And I also tied in, of course, the pink and purple color from throughout the rest of the home. And I did it in a little bit more of a brighter way in using this purple flower, which I think is from, what is that from? Oh my gosh, what pack is that from? I don't even remember what that pack is. I don't even know what it's from anymore. Wow. But I also was able to tie in the purple in those pillows and everything on that bed from Seasons. And then this is going to be the kids' room where, again, it is Void Critter themed, but it's the pink and purple and kind of like yellow and stuff too throughout their room. They're a lot more vibrant than in the rest of the home, but I just thought it was kind of a nice way to not only bring the same color scheme into the bedroom, which is something I actually try not to do at times, but I kind of wanted to do it here. So I thought it was a nice way to tie it in without it being too overwhelming or seeming too different from the rest of the house. I don't know if that makes any sense, but there's a Void Critter poster over here. Of course, everything is cluttered there on top of the dresser. There's two of those little cute Void Critter like stuffed animals. And now the dresser is going to be blocked. Just a heads up, it's going to be blocked. They're not going to be able to use it, but I wanted to kind of make that sacrifice just to make it a little bit more cluttered to my liking, even with it being a smaller space. But for two kids, you know, there really wasn't too much room in here. They do have that little armchair. They also have a little costume chest, as well as a big stuffed cat toy. And then basically the walls are just covered with posters and fun things that kids would often decorate their rooms with. I was allowed to do that to an extent, but I put a lot of holes in my wall that my mom had to fill in, which is unfortunate, and I apologize because, yeah, I put a lot of holes in that wall. They also have a little Void Critter station so they can actually play Void Critters. And then we move on to the backyard, which has a very small pool. It's nothing big, but I did really like being able to add a pool for them. There's also like the big whale floaty with like the whale tail, which I thought was cute since they've got kids. And then there's also a swing set and I believe an outside dining section as well as a small grill, so they can actually do a lot of fun things out in their backyard, which is great because it's a decent sized backyard and that wasn't what I was expecting. But I don't know, that's pretty much it for the build. So I hope you guys did enjoy this one. I can't wait to hear your thoughts, and I will catch you next time I post a video, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
like a song.